Hi everyone, I am the creator of Bizarre Insights. I thought I'd just create this video to introduce myself and tell you a bit about why I built Bizarre Insights. First of all, the Bizarre is awesome. I'm really enjoying playing myself, so that's a bit of a no-brainer as to why I'm interested in it. But also, I'm very much interested in all board games and digital card games and whatnot. This is a very small subset of my much larger collection that lives in another room. I have a background building tooling and software for board game or digital board games. So I'm a developer of Tabletop Simulator. I didn't create it. I actually got reasonably popular in the community, or well known in the community, for building like modding tooling. Like built a debugger and all this extra stuff that helps people create mods and build their own games in Tabletop Simulator. So Berserk Games, the creators of Tabletop Simulator, brought me on as a developer. So maybe if you were to know me from anything, you might know me from that, but I don't really expect people to know me. Also, I have a background in like reverse engineering. So I've written software called Hemdal, which allows you to replace the firmware on Samsung Android phones. That's had millions of downloads. I created that a long time ago. So if you wanted to like install a custom version of Android on your phone, you may have used my software. Cool. But that's sort of the stuff I do on the side anyway, like more professionally. I work in like head of engineering and CTO roles, mostly at startups. So many years ago, I was CTO of a company that we sold that created 3D rendering technology for real estate. So the companies that I work at are usually still like gaming adjacent, although sometimes more directly gaming. So I worked at a company that was building a game that allowed you to create your own like fiction story, like interactive fiction stories. And most recently worked as head of engineering at a company that ran heavily modded and heavily moderated Minecraft servers for kids. So the idea was that each day, well, if kids wanted to do it each day, it was available each day. You could get on a call with adults that are monitored by adults and play Minecraft with friends and make friends online. This is great for like homeschools and whatnot. Letting kids socialize with other people that like games, but doing so in a safe environment. So built a lot of like supporting web infrastructure for that. Contributed a little bit to the Minecraft modding, but I was the head of engineering there, so I didn't build everything. I was running teams to make everything work. Yeah, so that's a bit about my background. And as to why I wanted to build Bizarre Insights, I wanted to build something that's, I don't want to like disrespect anybody else that's building things for the Bizarre. So yeah, just it takes a lot of work to build anything for the Bizarre, and modding or building any software takes a lot more work than I think people realize. So, but I wanted to build something that sort of felt like a higher quality than perhaps what people are used to for third-party tooling for games. So I wanted it to feel a bit more premium, I guess. And another thing that I wanted to be sure of is that I wanted to build something that is not a cheat. I want this to have social value and be useful for the community. I want people to be able to share their runs and just like celebrate the Bizarre. I don't want this to be a tool that people use to cheat. So you won't at any stage find in Bizarre Insights an overlay that tells you go to this shop right now because you have a 30% chance of getting an upgrade for this weapon that you're holding. That it will not be the case. I won't be releasing anything that does precisely that. But the intent is you'll be able to get information about the meta, be able to track your runs, work out how you can improve, and just share and just generally celebrate the fun that is the Bizarre. I don't want to ruin the fun. So, and also it's really important when you're working with someone else's IP to be respectful of that. So Bizarre Insights looks quite a bit different than the Bizarre because I don't want to be mimicking their user interface. There's already some degree of stuff that you just fundamentally have to do, like have the card assets look a certain way. But given that that is the case, I've gone to like great lengths to ensure that they are representative, or ideally as close to representative of the vision that Tempo Storm wanted to portray, because they've put a lot of effort into the visuals of this game, like a lot. So I made sure, for example, that the enchanted cards, they're normally animated, so I made sure that we have an animated version of them. Now, it's not nearly as good as the real deal, which is using shaders to render. I'm not doing that on the web. I could have a background in that, but it's overkill. But yeah, they are animated in Bazaar Insights, like the frames, the gold. I don't know if people even know this, but if you pay close attention, the gold, diamond, and legendary cards, their frames are all animated. Bronze and silver, no. But that's sort of the attention to detail that Tempo Storm have given to the Bazaar. So I wanted to sort of embody that and do my best to, represent the Bazaar in a positive light. So that's why perhaps, it's why it's taken as long as it has to get this out, this tool. And then there's much more work to do. It's far from the standard that I think it should be at, but that's sort of where we're heading, and that's why it's built the way it is. It also, I wanted to make sure that this can work on mobile phones at some point. So that's, I think, somewhat unheard of. Maybe people have trackers on mobile. For some games, I'm not aware of any. But the idea is here that this software doesn't mod your game. I'm not changing the Bazaar. I'm not getting in there and reading memory and screwing around with the process. I'm simply not doing that. I'm working at the network layer. So I'm interpreting the communications to Bazaar, the APIs, but I'm not getting in the process and messing with anything. So that means that on a mobile phone, where you can't usually mod stuff unless you've rooted your phone or jailbroken it or something, this software should still work. There'll be some slight changes that need to be made to the way it works, but the general principle should apply, and it should be functional, unless Tempo Storm changed something drastically, in which case I can't promise anything. But the intent is that this will work on mobile, so your stats that you get at home will be, you'll still be able to record stats when you're playing on your phone, which I think is going to be very useful because a lot of people are going to be playing on their phones. So, yeah, hopefully you can resonate with some of this that I've told you today and give it a go. Let me know what you think.